What is your vision for transit and how do you plan to pay for it? We're going to start with Councillor Iveson.
Well, I'm a transit rider, for starters, so I understand the challenges on the system. I've been on the LRT on days where it's too full to get on the one train and you have to get on the next. I've been on buses that are just as bad. So I understand that the system is tight because need is so high, demand is so high. And I know some of that's because of the UPass, which is partly my fault because I helped negotiate the first UPass deal when I worked for undergrads at the U of A before. So then I was on the other side working for the city as chair of the transportation committee when the price went up. So sorry for that too, but we needed to recover some of the costs of providing what has been a wildly successful transportation choice for citizens in Edmonton, for students in Edmonton. We've included all the major post-secondaries now, and I think that can become one of Edmonton's competitive advantages for attracting students, and I think it gives you a wider radius to access affordable housing too. So my vision for transit is I would like to see the LRT system completed by 2030. I laid out a roadmap for how we can do that in partnership with folks in our region who I've been working with for the last several years as chair of our regional transit committee.
We need to ensure that people can get to and from where they want to go in a timely fashion. A lot of times I know you wait at the bus stops for 20 minutes or longer and it's cold and you don't know when the buses are coming and you're frustrated, and I don't blame you. What we need is shorter intervals between the buses. We need to ensure also that there's better off-peak service, and as well that when you have those late night classes that you can actually get back home. We're not sure if the system that we have right now is the best system. If you go to other cities, you'll know that you can transfer in between. You don't have to go to one point and then backtrack and get back again. So we've got to make our system more effective, and we've got to make our system more efficient. And of course, we have to finish the southeast, or start the southeast LRT line to the west end, and then go northwest and go northeast as well. That goes without saying.
It's incumbent on transit riders to always give feedback, and so that we can make sure that we get the right routes, get them, make sure that they're going the right places, make sure that maybe they can be going more frequently when they're needed. And yes, I support the LRT as well, but I think right now we've had a bit of a snag on funding. I wouldn't think that it would be advisable to go it alone, and we've got to get our partners on board, both the feds and the province. So the important thing right now is make sure that what the system that we have now is working, and I'd love to have your feedback on that. Last year at this time, there were about 150 complaints from motorists who wrecked their front ends, or wrecked their rims, or flattened their tires, and went to the city looking for compensation, 150 of them. This year, the last time I checked, there were 1,600 of them. Now, if you're a student, or anybody for that matter, that's a pretty big bill to get dinged for. So we've got to attack it.
We made really dumb decisions in the 90s to not look after the roads properly back then, and that eventually catches up to you, and I think Edmontonians are wise to that, not going to make that mistake again. So there's no doubt you need to not only patch the potholes in a given year. There's always going to be potholes. It's the nature of our climate, the nature of our soil conditions, but what we can do is reduce the number that we have to deal with every year, so we can stay on top of it better by doing the preventative maintenance so that a road lasts its whole life, which we hadn't been doing for a long time, but we're doing again and have been for several years now. So we've learned from our mistakes. We need to increase our investment a little bit more. We've gone from closer to 50 million 6 years ago to up around 160 million, 170 million is what we're investing in roads every year now. And we need to get that closer to 200 million in order to catch up. So we're actually most of the way there, but again, it's going to take several years to make up for the neglect. And the city actually has a pavement science lab that I only knew about because it's in my ward, and one day one of the transportation guys said, "You should really come see this." And I said, "Okay," I didn't know about it, went and checked it out. They test every load of asphalt we put down on a major road in the city of Edmonton for quality control. They work with the paving industry to develop new compounds that will last longer, and they work with the University of Alberta Faculty of Engineering, again, on testing new technologies and trying to build better roads that will last longer.
Next year with council, what I believe we need to do is to finish off those other arterial roads that are pothole full of potholes, and we can then start to look at how do we attack the problem on a long-term basis, because it's cheaper if you can maintain it, but in order to maintain it, if it's so broken down, you have to fix it first. And so we're going to have to go and fix some of those roads and then maintain it as well. So yes, we've got the expertise. Unfortunately, we're not utilizing that expertise, and that's what we have to start doing. And we'll do that by creating a plan.
Here in Edmonton, that's over 60,000 about people in our city that are Aboriginal. And I'm wondering, in your opinion, what is the greatest challenge facing these Edmontonian Aboriginals, and what would you do as mayor to help overcome that challenge that they face?
There is racism in Edmonton, but it is extraordinarily distressing how serious it is with our Aboriginal population. And that becomes systemic discrimination that makes it harder to find work, harder to find housing, and that is absolutely unacceptable in our community. I think about becoming the largest population of Indigenous people in the country as a wonderful thing, as a positive thing. It means that in spite of all of the challenges, this is a place worth coming to. And Edmonton has that rich history going back thousands and thousands of years of being a gathering place for Aboriginal people, a place where culture and commercial exchange has occurred here for millennia, since long before the fur trade, long before the rest of us got here. And it's high time that the Mayor of Edmonton, well, I wouldn't say Mayor Mandel hasn't. He's done remarkable work to reach out to the Aboriginal communities and to build bridges with Treaty 6 and with the Métis Nation and with other organizations, and to try to build unity by supporting Wichituin and other initiatives to strengthen the Aboriginal community. But more work is done, and I've said before that the very first thing I would do as mayor after being sworn in is first and foremost acknowledge Treaty 6. That is the first thing that will come out of my mouth after being sworn in as mayor. And that is the foundation upon which I want to build stronger relations with Aboriginal people, and the foundation upon which I would continue to condemn any racism or hatred or intolerance, because it has no place in our Edmonton.
We are, I think, finally understanding that by not respecting the Aboriginal culture, by not engaging with our Aboriginal peoples, and by not moving forward on understanding that there's untapped skills that we're losing. We're losing here at the City of Edmonton. We have an urban Aboriginal accord that we've had for a number of years now. Most recently, we've signed memorandums of understanding with the Treaty 6 chiefs, as well as most recently with the Métis Nations. We need to take away the veil of prejudice that sits in many employers as well.
Politicians aren't supposed to agree with one another, but I've got to agree with my two cohorts here. Racism is still very much rearing its ugly head, and we've got to do our best to educate people that it's unacceptable in this city. And once we can get over that, then we can get to a better solution. I truly believe that. We have an Aboriginal charter, and we've got to. We certainly have to work with the community and find out what the issues are individually by people who are having the hardest times on the street, and get to the people who truly need, a hand up, not a handout.
And it's one of the reasons why Edmonton is a great place to live. It's one of those reasons why my family is here too. And I'm sure that for those of you who do decide to stay in Edmonton, that arts and culture is going to be one of those things that grabs you and keeps you here, either as an audience member or as a performer, as a participant, because we punch way above our weight here. We have for a long time here in Edmonton. It's part of the creative spark that crosses over into business, that crosses over the arts, is that venues are getting scarcer and scarcer as the city does develop and as real estate gets more expensive. So it's important that MacEwan's new performing arts space just next door to here go ahead. That's going to be great. It opens up that MacEwan campus in the West End, which can be a place for great experimentation, for mad collaborations and mashups and rehearsal and performance that can spark the next wave of creativity in arts in Edmonton.
we have to continue to support the arts. I can't remember any time that we've not voted for funding. I've certainly voted for it. I'm sure that my cohorts did as well, for arts funding and grants and giving to the good, the various festivals that we have here. And I truly agree with the 1% for arts for public buildings. Now, to be honest, I'm not so keen on those talus balls.
Thank you for being here tonight. And most importantly, please make sure you vote at your respective institutions. There'll be a polling station on the 15th at Nate, on the 16th at MacEwan here, and on the 17th at the U of A. So again, thank you all for coming and have an excellent evening.